Hello, my name is Michael Patrick Jones, and I am the producer, writer, and director of the motion picture and soon to be hit The Gentleman's Club, as well as the television show The Iconic Wise. And I have just had the privilege of being interviewed by Kevin Mclemore. So stay tuned for more. We should be out and coming to a theater near you. Thank you.
Welcome to another episode of Talking with WIT Kevin and Son, featuring people you should know. Hi, I'm Kevin Mclemore. I am your show host. I'm a four-time published author, matter of fact, an award-winning published author, motivational speaker, as some of my friends call me, mindset messenger. This episode is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcast Network. Our mission is to give you the power of your voice, inspire, share stories and experiences using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. In short, we showcase people you should know. Our purpose is hope, helping other people every single day. So let me tune in right quick, get my specs on so I can go ahead and make sure that I do everything right here, because when I tell you whatever your objective is, successful people, they create a framework around their day-to-day lives that enhance their lives. And many times, like my guests, they pour into others. This podcast will reveal the secrets of what it would take to break into the movie business and stay there. Today's guest is a very talented filmmaker, writer, and film producer. He is one, I believe, of 9 children. His upbringing was faith-driven. Coming from a family of ministers, his family, there was no drinking, there was no smoking, there was no bad language. And even today, I just learned the man still supports what he had been taught and caught. My guest has never wavered from his dream to be in the entertainment business. From auditioning in high school to his first big Hollywood audition in front of Goldie Hawn when she was filming the movie Wildcat. We're on the same audition, and now you can correct me if I got this wrong, is that there was an unknown actor that was auditioning that same day named Brother Wesley Snipes. So to my listeners today, you will learn from our guests firsthand what it takes to become a producer, attract investors and sponsors, and then if you stay long enough, you may even learn how to get a part in one of his TV shows or maybe in one of his feature movies. So without further ado, let me welcome my friend, a talented filmmaker, television producer, Mike Patrick Jones. MJ, what's up?
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you.
All right, all right. Michael, 9 children? Are you the only one in the film business?
Yes, pretty much so. I have a third brother who he dabbles in the business every now and then, but he does his own. He has his own show called Stock Up with Larry Jones. A lot of people know who he is, especially in the stock business. So he's got a pretty big following. But yes, I'm pretty much the only one except for that brother there.
All right. So, Mike, let me ask you a question. If I happen to be that one New York cab driver that happened to be dropping you off to a big investors meeting, and you left behind your daily journal, and the first part of your journal was your story, and I'm sitting there on a New York street on Park Avenue and 54th Street reading your journal. Tell me, what would your story tell me, and where would it begin?
Well, it would most likely begin at that audition, the one for Goldie Hawn, as a matter of fact. I was actually working at Columbia College in Chicago when people just kept asking me. They kept saying, you should be in the film business. You should be an actor. You should be an actor. You've got the voice. Just you should be an actor. So someone pushed me to the audition, and I knew nothing about auditioning, about agents, about, just nothing. I just went because everybody, was filling my head. So I decided to just go ahead and go. So I said, well, the audition starts at 8 a.m. I'm going to get there at 7, just so I could be the first one. So, of course, when I arrived at the audition, there was another gentleman that was already there as well. And that person was Wesley Snipes. And so when we arrived there, I'm looking at him and he's looking at me, and I didn't know he had an agent, and I didn't. And as I was there, I started realizing that most of the guys that were there who have agents, they were the first ones to be looked at. So, as we know, agents are important. They can get you through those doors, because what happens is that a lot of these auditions is a lot of times they'll start turning people away. But the instant you say, but my agent sent me down here, that's when I go, okay, they'll go, they'll ask, well, who's your agent? Once you tell them who your agent is, and they'll push you to the front. So agents are important.
All right. So how did you do on that audition?
I was called back twice. By the time I came back on the third audition, I didn't make it after that third audition. So, but then I was upset because I was a senior in high school, and I found out that they were paying the football players, which I was auditioning for, $10,000 a week. And think about it. You're in high school and they're paying $10,000 a week, and I guess I didn't have that face. They were looking for the really tougher looking guys like Wesley Snipes.
All right. So everyone knows if you see a movie with Wesley Snipes playing in a football movie, we all know what that movie was. We've seen him before. So that's all right. So I know back in the day when I had my opportunity in New York City to audition, I crashed a lot of auditions. It used to be, certain warehouses where that they would hold auditions, and you would walk by and they would say auditioning for Dove or Procter and Gamble, whatever, and I would go, I'm going to crash that and whatever. But you mentioned the fact that that everyone had an agent. After being turned down from that film, and the reason why if you ever see any of my emails, it says you're only as strong as your last nose. No, it's that being a working actor or aspiring actor, you hear no a lot more than you hear yes.
Absolutely.
What kept you going? And the reason why I'm asking you this, because a lot of people think that if you go to New York, you go to Chicago, you go to Hollywood, whatever, is that if you don't get the job right off the bat, because everyone wants to be a star and make millions of dollars, they do not know that most people that we see on the big screen have probably been in the business and had a lot of no's for 5, 10 years before they got their first break. So resilience is the key. What kept you going?
Well, one, it wasn't the fact that I wanted to be an actor so bad. I just wanted to be in the business. Period. It wasn't so much being an actor, because I never thought I would be a really good actor. So, unless I was doing one of those small roles like Alfred Hitchcock or Stephen King, when you're just walking, through your film, through your movie, and everybody, now that I would do. But
Okay.
what happened was, I decided to try out for the Olympic Games in '88. In '92, I went out for the games, and as I was, I began traveling all around the world. Had sponsors lined up left and right. Wrestling is my sport, so it's
Okay.
Greco-Roman wrestling. Because of my size, I started getting a lot of security jobs, working for celebrities, Chuck Norris, Sylvester Stallone, Mike Tyson. I was constantly being called on to work for this celebrity, that celebrity. And while and this is while they're shooting movies. So here I'm on a set, and I'm constantly watching how they're shooting everything on these sets, and I'm thinking, I could do better than this. I could, I could come up with a storyline better than this. So I began writing. That's how I pretty much got into the business. I started writing, sending out scripts here and there, not realizing that, again, without having an agent, you're sending out your script to a studio, and when it gets to those studios, your script goes on a desk, and or a box, and there's going to be full of scripts, and they eventually just dump them. Now if they see something in there good, of course they're not going to tell you. Most likely it's going to get stolen, because there are projects that I've done and I could have swore that was my movie. When you see something on the screen, and I said, okay, I'm going to stop this, because it looks like everything I'm putting out is ending up on the screen, but I'm not seeing any money or checks. So I just kept sticking with it, and finally I wrote a script, and it was called the Jackie Wilson story, the singer Jackie Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And, word got around that I had, spent time, writing a script. Matter of fact, I spent 2 years in Detroit with Jackie Wilson's family and
Right.
daughters, sons. And then they started introducing me to people, and I started writing the script. And next thing, word got out that, hey, this guy has a really good script. Next thing you know, I had an agent. Agents were
All right.
calling me. Right, agents were calling me, and that's how I pretty much got into the business at that point. Once the agent started calling me, I was like, okay, well, maybe I want to be a writer. And I really hated writing, but I could write. I just don't like writing. So that's pretty much how I got into the business.
And who taught you how to write a screenplay? And
I taught myself. I actually went on the internet. I just started then I started, looking at other scripts, and I'm like, okay, I could do this. And it took me maybe just a couple of days to figure out, how to write the script the right way. So yeah, it was self-taught.
all right, so that's pretty cool. So now you went from actor, writer, and now producer. I have no idea. I know the answer to this. I'm going to say it anyway and pretend like I don't. What's a producer?
Well, a producer is the person who pretty much oversees everything. The producer is over everything from the storyline to hiring the crew, the film crew, to figuring out what the budget is going to be, to figuring out what actors and actresses that will fit the part. Looking at locations. So pretty much, a producer oversees everything.
All right, is
He's
the producer also, because I see on the screen, and again, I'm playing ignorant, executive producer. Who is that?
Executive producer is pretty much the same person as well, except most executive producers are people who actually come up with the money. They actually go out and they actually find the money for the producer, as a matter of fact. So the executive producer is pretty much he's also a person that is over everything, but he's pretty much the person that comes up with the money.
All right,
And I
so
do it all.
okay. So now there's a lot of movies being made. There's a lot of independence movies that are being made right now, more so than
Then
at any other time, other than when we went to the Renaissance era, when Black people couldn't get studio deals, when doctors and dentists and lawyers were funding these projects. Independent films now, can you still make a Oscar-winning movie on $500,000 or $100,000 today? Can that still be made?
Absolutely. Look at Jason Blum, and everyone knows who Jason Blum is, even if you don't recognize the name. If you've seen Paranormal Activities, any of those Paranormal Activity movies, The Purge, Whiplash, Megan, he shoots a lot of horror films, but most of his films are made for small budgets. He's learned how to make his movies with small budgets, shoots them in between 10 and 30 days, and they all go out and they become really pretty big blockbusters. Matter of fact, Whiplash, the movie he did, won a couple of Oscars. So he's had a couple of other movies. I can't remember what they were, but they also won Oscars. And I mean, his movies are just. And matter of fact, since he did Paranormal Activity, this guy's done just over 100 movies now.
So now I'm going to ask you, how many movies have you done so far?
Well, this is my first film, as a matter of fact. The movie that I'm working on now, it's almost complete, but that's my first film.
Can we
And
talk about it?
oh yeah, absolutely. The movie is called The Gentleman's Club. It's about two sisters who inherit the family business, which is a hotel. It's a prestigious hotel in Miami. And when they inherit the hotel, they realize that they owe some $10 million on it. But when they should be able to just take over the family business because their parents are killed off in the beginning of the movie, the board members, who are all men, don't think that they can run the business. So the sisters come out with a plan. They say, look, if we can raise $10 million in a year, We run the family business. Of course, all the men they started laughing. They're like, wait a minute, you two have never, ran a business in your life, and you think you can raise $10 million and run this, this prestigious hotel? So the sister said, yeah, absolutely. So they go out and they start another business on the side. They go out and they hire 30 of the hottest men that they can find, and they train them in the art of seducing wealthy women out of money to keep the hotel going. So these guys, they train 7 days a week, 8 hours a day in seducing and learning how to seduce women.
So,
So
so the stars of the movie and the women are teaching men how to seduce what other
women,
women.
who better to teach?
Oh boy, boy. So when's the audition, Mr. Jones? When's the audition? All right. That is exciting. So where are you in production with that?
We're more than halfway through with actually filming, as a matter of fact. So once we complete the other half of the film, it's done. Now, with the movie, once the movie is out in theaters, the very first one we're going to release as a theatrical release. But as it's playing in the theaters, we're going to go ahead and start writing for a television series, because that's what the distributors want. They want to turn it into a television series. But I wanted to turn the first one into a theatrical release.
All right. So I'll be auditioning for the concierge of the Jones Hotel. I will be screening the gentleman for the Gentlemen's Club. Okay.
Okay.
I will show them how to dress, how to walk, how to conduct themselves, how to open the door for a young lady, and most of all, how to say goodnight and leave them shaking in their boots without ever touching them.
Absolutely. Now, think about the first Gigolo movie, which came out back in 1980, Richard
American
Gere.
Gigolo,
Right.
Richard Gere.
No one knew who he was. It was like his first or second film, but no one knew who he was. So here he shoots this movie. Then he lands another movie. So he leaves the country, and all of a sudden he's being called back to the U.S. And they're like, "Look, you got to get back here because this movie is a huge hit." I mean, you had an unknown clothing company called Armani. No one had ever heard of Armani suits. So when he's going in his closet and he's showing all these suits, who had ever heard of Armani? So yeah, that was, until this day, I've never seen another Gigolo movie come close to that one.
It's this an all white cast or all black cast doing this?
They're a mixture of everybody. You're talking Hispanics, African Americans, Chinese, Arab. It's a mixture of everybody.
All right, all right, all right. Well, if you need a brother that knows how to ride a horse and knows his way around that, hey, women like a man in chaps. I'm going to tell you. Hey, I'm still sitting there selling myself to my brother over here. Now, the one thing that you just brought up, and before I ask this question, because you talked about Armani suits, in my mind, my imagination is going wild. I'm a writer, so I'm thinking of brand building. You know,
Mhm.
what type of companies should be in there? I'm thinking sometimes cars that people have never seen. Sometimes, automobile manufacturers, they have prototypes of cars that they don't want to spend the money on, but could be featured in a movie. That's the same way
Right.
James Bond did with Jaguar. But before we get into that and learning how to do that and how sponsors or brands can contact you, both big or small, I want people to know how they can get in touch with you. How's the best way to reach you?
Email is always the best way, which is at jimoviestudio@gmail.com. That's jimoviestudio@gmail.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me, because I'll respond to you quickly.
All right. And for those of you that are driving and doesn't have pen and paper in handy, all of his information will be in the show notes of the show. So if you subscribe, follow, or get the notification, you'll have Mike's information on there. So this is what I've been in rooms when people were trying to teach people how to pitch brands and get them to back your movie to give you money. So as far as what I understand, and I already know the answers, I'm just putting it out there, is that there are people that supply product that
Right,
become sponsors. There are
right.
people that supply product and they're featured in there, which they pay a fee in order to have their product in there. And there are people that are small companies, their brands and whatever, that they have their fingers crossed that their product will show up in the marketplace and it will build up. I mean, just like 2 weeks
Oh,
ago, that one of the Philadelphia Eagles just happened to be reading a book called Inner Strength before that football game. It was 700 on the bestseller list. The following Monday, it was number one. So we do know the power of the right person wearing the right clothes, driving the right car, and so forth. So
absolutely.
in your show, I'm going to pimp you out a little bit. What do
Okay.
you need? What do you need for um, as far as brand building? What are you looking for? Are you looking for established brands, or are you looking for up and comers? And the other question is, can the everyday people invest in a film with you?
Absolutely. The brand does not have to be established. I'm always looking to help someone who's coming out with a new brand that they want to push. Like, for instance, in the movie, because we have actually there's over 30 men in the movie. You're talking in the opening scene, there's probably a couple of hundred men, gigolos in the opening scene, all wearing sunglasses. So if someone has, you have mom and pop companies. See, there you go. You have mom and pop companies that have their own brands, as a matter of fact. So this would be a good way to actually get their brand shown in the movie, and then we would actually shoot at their location, as a matter of fact. So you have the opening scene where you see all a couple hundred guys, and then we would also shoot at that at the establishment, as a matter of fact. So that gives the audience, where these sunglasses come from. So now they know where they actually come from. Um, Definitely cigar brands. I'm always looking for cigar brands because the leading lady smokes a cigar throughout the movie. Clothing, that's definitely because the men, these are gigolos. They have to wear the top brands, as well as the women, as a matter of fact, because you have the two sisters, you have the wealthy women in the movie that the men are actually going after. So in this movie, you think everything has got to be upper class. This is not one of these low class type films that you'd find on Tubi. No, this is going to be one of these upper type class movies where the women have to have money, the men dress to impress. They don't look like pimps. They're wearing these $2,000 suits. I mean, they're wearing these really Gucci sunglasses, or just pretty much nice sunglasses, or even reading glasses. Just everything has to be top brands, though. Like I said, I don't want them looking like pimps. So the movie
Right.
has a standard to it.
All right, and that's one of the things. What I know, you and I have talked off camera, and I want to make sure that the people that are listening to this is not one of those black exploitation movies. It is
No,
not it's not one of those movies where a female in every part. I mean, we said early on, you come from a family of ministers.
absolutely.
No bad language, no
Right.
alcohol, none of that deviant behavior. So it's not like it's going to be naked, all skinned people. I've talked to Mike about this project, and it's going to be one of those things for women. It's going to be a
Mm,
coming of age. It's going to be a coming of age to learn how to run a business, how to be a CEO, how to be a good employee, how to work your way up. But it's also going to say that the human part of this the movie itself is the reality of life. Everyone's searching for love, and in this movie, being a gentleman is just that, being a
right.
gentleman.
Right. The sex scenes, for instance, you remember 50 Shades of Grey. Now
Oh,
that one had some pretty intense sex scenes in it. Weird. I'm not doing that.
all
I'm
right.
actually, I'm not doing
I was going to say, if you're going to do that, I'm out.
that.
So, investors, all right? You are
Yeah,
looking for investors. Are you
absolutely.
looking for investments from established movie companies, or is this an option that, say, me and a couple of friends decided that we wanted to invest, and
Absolutely.
if we had 100,000, maybe a 500,000 put together in a pool, can we be part of this project?
Absolutely. Once you contact me, I would send you a package, and then we would begin negotiations from there. But yeah, everyday persons can just get in contact with me, and I will send a package out to you.
And I know the next question most people are going to ask, are you working on distribution deals, or do you have one in place, or how does that process work?
I have one in place already, Sony Pictures. They were the first ones to actually get in touch with me. By accident, I was showing my trailer to a few people. I just happened to be at the airport, and I'd like to show it to especially women, just to get their thoughts on it. And one particular young lady saw the trailer and she goes, "Can I send this to my boss? Does he be interested in this?" And of course, I'm thinking, I'm hoping, this guy has money. Absolutely. So about 2 hours later, I get a call from Sony Pictures, and it happens to be they liked the project and had me come into their office the very next day. So yeah, so we already have that set.
Yeah, I didn't know for me and for young people coming into the business, when you work with the big dogs and the movie industry, there is a price to pay for fame. The small independents, they celebrate the wealth a lot better than
Hmm.
going through the big productions. And you just
Yeah.
brought this up, and my head is spinning as far as my Rolodex. I actually have a young sister that is a private jet broker. She sells jets, luxury jets. Will be a great character for you
Really?
on there, and it could be a great asset for you
Absolutely.
to be able to film some of that. I will hook you up with Jean Fields, and I will tell Jean that I mentioned her name on here. And if
Absolutely.
there's, I will say, I'm putting this out there now. If there is anyone out there that is in a startup position that would like to contact Mike and have their product showcased on here. Matter of fact, I've got a another young person I'm going to introduce you to. My head is spinning that just created a cell phone that actually has a built-in movie projector in it, and it's hot. The
And
cell
I'm
phone is
actually
hot.
looking for cell phones because all the guys they pretty much carry the same cell phone.
Right. All
In the
right.
movie,
So
all
it's
the
got
gigolos, same cell
so
phone.
it's got to be the G phone. It's got to be all right. So now I'm going to go back to the everyday person. All right. So I am an actor without an agent. All
Mm-hmm.
right. I am a talented person that's never been discovered. I am an
Hmm.
actor with an agent living in New York. You're in Hollywood, Florida, if you don't
Yeah,
mind me saying that the area.
absolutely.
Um, I am a 17-year-old kid that has always wanted to be in the movie industry, but I'm living in Chattanooga, Tennessee. But I am going to take my last dime to come down to see Mike Jones to audition. Do I have a chance?
Yes, you do. And let me tell you, I actually prefer actors without agents, to tell you the truth, because agents could be a headache at times. Uh, most of my actors, they didn't get agents until after I had already hired them on. So most of them did not have agents, and I preferred it that way. Like I say, agents can give you a headache, especially when I try to go after A-listers or B-listers, and then the agents. The problem is a lot of the agents are out for themselves. Let's say let's say you're Omari Hardwick from Power, and I
Mhm.
said he'd make an excellent gigolo, and I know I could probably offer him like $50,000 for, let's say, 4 days of work. Well, you contact the agent, and the agent is thinking, okay, you know what, 50,000, that's not enough. Let's say 80,000 because he wants 30,000 for himself. So he may not even take it to Omari until I say, yeah, okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you the other 80. That's why most producers, we find a way around the agents.
All
So
right.
that happens quite often. We look for a friend of a friend. There are so many A and B lister actors that I actually do know now because a friend of a friend pretty much pointed them out to me, and then they actually called me. You actually hooked me up with one of your friends the other not long ago.
Well, you can go ahead and say my brother. from Another Mother. Naheem Garcia was
Absolutely.
in movies with Denzel, Sandra Bullock. His latest is The Holdover. You can go ahead and say that. I'm okay with saying Naheem.
Okay, yes, but yeah, see, and that's how that goes. I was talking with, I'm not sure if it was you or somebody else, but they introduced me to Omari Hoderick, and
All
then
right.
right, I mean, I just started getting called Gary Busey. I mean, it was just we actually turned down Arnold Schwarzenegger on a movie because it's more of a faith movie, but because of his accent, we was like, no, we're not going to be able to use him, and we can't.
You know something, because of Arnold Schwarzenegger became famous because people discriminated against him with his accent. All right. And now look at, I'll be back. All right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't start doing what they did to other people. We're supposed to be special people in this business.
Absolutely. But the good thing about independent films right now is, believe it or not, independent films are doing better than the studio back films, because if you notice, a lot of the studio back films have bombed since COVID.
And do
Uh,
you know why? I could tell you why from an audience standpoint. You keep recycling old movies and thinking that we're going to show up and pay our $15 and buy popcorn or
yes,
whatever. We've been there, we've done that. The reason why I'm a big fan of independence, the reason why I have, independent film producers and writers, because they get a chance to tell the stories that no one else wants to tell. They give
exactly.
actors breaks that no one wants to give an actor a break, and they can actually, put a product out there that people want to see. I think the Gentleman's Club is a home run.
Right, and it's original. It's never been done before, so it's an original. So I'm looking forward to doing it for television, as well, because each week we'll have a different A-lister on there. So I mean, it's got a great chance of making it. One of my favorite stories I like to tell is Taylor Sheridan, and almost everybody knows. They know his movies and TV shows, but they have no idea who this guy is. This is someone who wanted to break into the business. Every time he would go to a casting call, he would always be number 13, number 14. So he just could not seem to get that break. So he decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to start writing. And he started writing television shows, and everybody's heard of Yellowstone. Uh,
Yes,
everybody's heard of Lioness, Special
yes.
Ops. That also, then you had all the spinoffs before Yellowstone. He's got so many projects, and they're just constantly, this guy had $80 in his pocket, while trying to break into the
He was
business,
homeless.
and homeless, and now he's
And
worth over
homeless.
200
Yeah.
million dollars.
And I'm going to tell people, you have to watch Lioness. All right.
Absolutely.
You have to watch Yellowstone. Jill
Stone.
Wagner. I've been trying to get her to come on the show. She kills it in that series. You have to watch it. So anyone from the show Lioness, hey, come on. If I can get the creator to come on with the cast, be more than happy to have you on the show.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
your project, union or non-union?
Non-union.
All right. I just want to make sure. All
Right.
right.
I mean, it's easy for people to get on, although we do have a lot of people that are union qualified that are actually on the show. But we get a lot of union people that want to work with us.
All right. And the reason why I brought this up is because people need to understand that as actors, a non-union actor is someone that has not been part of SAG-AFTRA or the
Right.
Screen Actors Guild, and that includes writers. They set a standard that this is how much you get paid, this is how you can work, and whatever. Non-union, you can work with whatever schedule and get paid for however you want to get paid.
Right.
And the reason why the union is there is because back in the old days, people would make you work and work ungodly hours, wouldn't pay you.
Right.
This is the way you're gonna get paid. The reason why I put this out there because your project is so great, and I know your reputation, and I back you on it. I know people are gonna you're gonna take care of the people that's in there. Are you open to reading screenplays? And how do you like my script?
Absolutely. I love your project, and I'm always looking for something that's outside the box. I don't like shoot. I won't touch any projects that are just regular scripts. I'm always looking for that outside of the box project, like the Gentleman's Club or like the TV show that I'm doing, The Iconic Wives, or I just look for stuff that's outside of something that Steven Spielberg or George Lucas would do. Those projects are always outside the box, and that's what I'm going to stick with.
All right. Well, I said on top of the show, that the people that we should know have secrets to their success. And I'm
Hmm.
going to ask you a series of questions about your secrets and how you maintain and how you keep who you are intact in this business. So the first question I'm going to ask you, and these are taken from my list of my secrets to my success. How do you stop from feeding your distractions?
Hmm. That's a good question. How do I? um, I guess every day, because I'm looking around and I'm constantly saying, the next person get ahead of me, the next person, and the next person. And I'm like, I'm not moving fast enough. And so it pretty much keeps me motivated at that point. I know if I stop, there's, nothing's going to happen. If I don't keep pushing, nothing's going to happen. So I have to keep pushing.
How do you deal with um, the next time? Sometimes, avoiding the pain of people saying, I got you. And then when you need them, they ain't got you. How do you deal with avoiding that pain in your industry? Because there's a lot of no's in your industry, and there's a lot of
Yes.
pretenders in your industry.
There's no way to avoid them. You're going to get them. I get them till this day. I get agents that'll call me. I get investors that'll say, "Oh yeah, I've got you for this amount," and I know better than to put all my eggs in one basket. That's the one thing I'm always telling people: never put all your eggs in one basket, because the person you think, just when you think that person is going to come through, no, they will let you down. And then there are people out there that I thought that, what, this person is wasting my time. And just when I went to hang the phone up on them, they came through. So, those you have to expect. There's no way around that.
All right. And what about journaling? Do you make notes, take notes of the things that keep you going? Do you journal?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Plus, I keep a lot of things up here. Absolutely. You pretty much, because in this business, it's like putting it together a gem that has 800 pieces, and
Hmm.
pretty much have to keep instructions on where this piece goes, this piece goes, this piece goes. It's pretty much almost, it's every day that I have to be able to just think of something out of the box. I'm always thinking outside the box. You have to, especially being an independent, you have to think outside the box.
All right. What's your favorite quote? What gets you going?
I keep my friends close, but I keep my enemies even closer. That's
All
my
right.
favorite.
All right. So you have positive talk to yourself. How do you avoid? There's a good book that I read. It's called The Gap in the Game. When I speak, I talk about the power of your words and the actions that follow. The gap is the negative self-talk or the people that are around you. The gain is the positive. How do you relate to the gap in the gain? So the gap is the negative and the gain is the positive. How
Well,
do you deal?
with negative, what I noticed, what I've done, I've shut off a lot of friends that I thought were friends anyway. That those were my negatives. There are a lot of people that I no longer associate with. I had to push them out my side. Those were the ones that always say, "Oh, you're never gonna make it there. Hollywood is not like that. You're just not gonna get there." And I've actually surpassed what they thought. And the funny thing is, sometimes I'll get a call from them, and I know what they want, and it's like I don't even pick up the phone anymore. So I pretty much cut out a excuse me, I cut out a lot of people. Oh, those were my negatives.
And how do you know when you got a good script?
Actually, once I come up with an ideal, I'll there's a handful of people that I talk to, and and I'll ask them what they think. And these people, they're producers as well. And word of mouth gets around. They're like, that's really great. And, then all of a sudden I'll get phone calls going, hey, can we help you? That's when you've really got something,
Mhm.
it's just, like I said, everything I do is pretty much try to do is outside the box. If it's inside the box, I'm pretty much not interested.
All right. And let me ask you another question. What's your relationship with your gut? Now, this is two parts. The reason why I'm asking this, because I've seen, and I'm guilty of it too. I've written a screenplay with an actor in mind, and then all of a sudden I'll go to some play or have a conversation with someone or whatever. I'm going, that's my guy. How do you know when you got the right actor?
Well, with me, it's kind of funny. I watch a lot of movies, and I'm always, my wife, she'll get angry at me because, while we're sitting there watching the movie, I critique a lot of things about it. As a matter of fact, she starts doing that now. So I know I've been a bad influence on her. So I can, matter of fact, today, we were watching a television show, and I was like, that was real bad casting on this show, because this person should have never been on this show. I do that a lot, and I can pretty much always say that this person is going to make it. You can just tell when I saw Jean-Claude Van Damme for the first time in a movie called Bloodsport. And I said, this guy's going to go. He's going to be big, and which he turned out to be big because he had that certain something. Then you
Mhm,
have other actors, you see them and you're like, this person is really, it just doesn't have it. Matter of fact, Taylor Sheridan is another one of those.
mhm.
He's a great, great writer, but he wants to be an actor. But unfortunately, his acting quality is not that good. And everyone always talks about that. They're like, he's a great writer, but acting he should stay away from. So pretty much, I just have that eye to where I know what fits in my films and what doesn't.
Right. Do you have your ideal, I'm going to wrap up soon. You have your ideal dream team, a list of actors or people that you want to work with, a list of people that you want to have do the music score from. I'm putting it out there because a lot of times if you don't ask, you don't get. And
I,
God normally delivers what you want. Who's your dream team? If you had to have, let's say, five actors, male or female.
let's see. Dream team would probably be Amari Hardwick. Uh, I would say Billy D. Williams. I would go with Halle Berry.
Okay.
I would go with Charlize Theron. That's without a doubt. And I actually like Kevin Costner.
All right, Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Um, three directors you like to work with.
Definitely George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. That's without a doubt. Um, and I would have to say let's say the other director would, believe it or not, Taylor Sheridan. No, no, no.
Okay.
He's not a director. He's pretty much more of a writer. Um, Director. There's a young lady that I would like to work with. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pursue her, but I can't think of her name off the top of my head.
All right. Well, I do know you're working on the Gentlemen's Club. You have 10 other projects. I want people to know that if you're not a fit for this one project, that he's also working on a television production. They will need
Right,
extras, they'll need day players, they'll need contract players, and they'll need stars. And a star can be developed from a day player. That's how Tom Cruise got his start.
right,
He wasn't a star from day one. He worked his way up through the business. So there is a process on there of going through the movies. And is there anything that I left out that you think we should mention right now?
Mm, I also have a television show
All
that
right.
we're doing called The Iconic Wives.
Okay.
Uh,
Talk about
it's,
that.
yeah, it's like remember the old Barbara Walters shows when she would interview the big superstars, and it always
Yeah.
became this event. Well, we're doing the same thing, except this show we're interviewing the wives who were married to men who became icons. So the wives would be the wives of like Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali, the Beatles, Evel Knievel, you name it. As long as they were icons, they have to be icons, not just just celebrities, but they have to be icons. So we interview wives, and the show is going to be about anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour segment. We've already shot the first episode. Pretty much everyone wants to know from the wife's point of view, what it was like to be married to someone like someone who became an icon. What was your life like? People, they're always interested in, what was she like? And everybody wants to know. It's like, give an example. There's only one of the Bee Gees that's still around, and that's the
Right.
older. And his wife, they've been married for 52 years or 54 years, but no one knows anything about Linda. That's her name. No one knows anything about her. If you pull her up, if you go to Google, everything will be unknown, 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 unknown. So it's, my job to try to get, them out there and actually, give the world, a little taste, what was it like being you?
Right. All right. Well, Mike, I'm going to tell you, it is so fantastic to be able to showcase you in this year, talk about your secrets, talk about the process of movie making, talk about the process of the films you have in production, and thank you for providing an opportunity for our everyday listeners to be potentially have one dream come true. And you're producing that. Um, Mike, I'm going to ask you this. Michael Patrick Jones. If you were to put out there your one ask, and when I say your one ask, that means that one dream that could come true. And the reason why I'm saying this, I'm going into my third year, was actually going into my fourth year of doing Talking with Kevin and Son. And I've asked this question almost 200 times. I've had 6 people answer someone's life dream. Some of us go through our whole life and never have one dream come true. And I've had 6 total strangers address and answer this person's call. Matter of fact, one person, and I would say Dr. Wells, that's in France, you've made 2 people's dreams come true. She got a $50,000 scholarship for one of my published authors to help get them out there. And then she helped another teacher in the Bronx start a program that is educating young kids on how to grow their own plants. I forget the technical name of it. And I've had another film director that has actually taken a young man from Philadelphia to Los Angeles, and he wanted to be a stuntman. Not only did he hire his sister as a PR person, the kid ended up being his first real job was a stunt person in one of Keanu Reeves' movies. First job. And all the kid wanted to do was be a stuntman in a big box office movie. And now this kid is actually writing and producing his own screenplay with the help of this friend. So if you had one ask and someone can make that dream come true, I want you to think about this. What would your ask be?
Mine would most likely be for someone to give me a hand with building sound stages here between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, because that's always been my biggest project is to build sound stages here as they do, as they have in Chicago, because that's, if you notice, Chicago now is pretty much the second Hollywood now.
Right.
Because they have so many sound stages now, and it was a father and son who decided to do that. The fathers, told the son, say, "Hey, here's some money. Go out and find some land so we can build some sound stages here." As fast as they were building them, they were being booked out. So now you have all the Superman movies, Batman movies, all the big projects now are being shot in Chicago. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to do here in Florida. That's what I want to do here in Miami. So if I could, get someone to give me a hand with putting up sound stages here, because that's the one thing we're lacking here very badly. We are lacking sound stages here, and we're getting passed over a lot. Everybody's heading to Atlanta. So that's my biggest thing is to build, get someone to help me build some sound stages here in Florida.
Well, we put it out there, and that's just all we can do. I'm asking my listeners, to like and share this video, to get in touch with Mike. I'm going to ask you one more time, how do people get in touch with you real quick?
They can send me an email at movie studio at gmail.com. That's JI movie studio at gmail.com.
All right. And if you guys like me well enough and share it enough, I may even give you Mike's phone number. But anyway, Mike, I want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing. I hope my listeners have enjoyed the show. We gave them a taste of what it's like to be a writer. We know a little bit about your backstory. We know what it's like to be a producer, an executive producer. We know what it's like to be a writer. We also provide an opportunity on this show for those of you that want to break into the business, that want that big break, or to get a chance to, you know how to get in touch with a real live filmmaker right now. And for those of you, when the Gentleman Club comes out, the only way that you could be successful in this business, because streaming is now important, um, is to start watching. Watch the show in its entirety. And Michael, I want to thank you. And what I want to leave with my listeners today, I want you to keep this in mind. To grow, you've got to make some mistakes. To have confidence like Mike has, you have to address some of your anxieties, because we all have to overcome some stuff. Because being in this business, there's no such thing as an overnight success. There's like bamboo, there's 5, 6 years, 10 years. And those that don't give up are the people that get the chance to hold the victor's cup. I ask you to forgive yourself. You must hold yourself accountable. All right. Good people, bad people become good people when they make the decision to change their behavior. Life is all about choices. And to learn, you must unlearn some stuff. To exist, you must show up as more today than you did yesterday. And to understand the power of your words, I want you to make note from this, from the Mindset Messenger. Life is about two things: chance and choice. My grandfather always said, when you get to a place in life and you have the power or in the position to help someone else out, just like Mike, it is your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. If you like what you heard, go to RMK Productions and Network on our YouTube page, and you can follow and subscribe. Share it if you like, but only subscribe if you're a person with high call to action. And so with that said, all right, reach one, teach one, and we fade to black. And we're out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.